You think I don't know what you are? You're just like your mother, a leech. Get out of my house before I call the cops on both of you. Freeze on Harrison Jones pressed against the kitchen island, Jessica Elaton's finger inches from his face, Sarah Jones appearing in the doorway with terror in her eyes. You ever notice how rich folk throw away more food than poor folk see in a week? Welcome back and thank you for choosing to spend your time here with us at Tales. Your presence means everything, and we promise this story will stay with you long after it ends. If you believe in stories that change perspectives, hit that subscribe button and drop a comment telling us where you're watching from. Let's build this community together. Now let's get into the story. I'm Sarah Jones, and before you judge what comes next, you need to understand something. I've been cleaning houses for 15 years. Big houses. The kind where you need a golf cart to get from the kitchen to the bedroom. For the past 3 years, I've worked for Mrs. Jessica Elaton in her Calabasas mansion. 8,000 square feet of polished marble and pane, overlooking the valley like a castle overlooking peasants. But this story, it ain't about her infinity pool or her garage full of cars she never drives or her bathroom that's bigger than most people's living rooms. This is about what happened on a Tuesday night in October. 8:47 p.m. to be exact. My boy Harrison, 7 years old, bright as a new penny and twice as valuable to me, was supposed to be in the basement staff room doing his math homework. My sister who watches him had the flu, and I couldn't afford to miss work. Not with the rent notice taped to my door. Not with his asthma inhaler running low. Not with the choices being heat or eat, never both. Mrs. Elaton had let me bring him, but with rules stricter than a prison yard. Stay downstairs, don't touch anything, and most importantly, be invisible. Harrison knows how to be invisible. That boy's been poor his whole life. He learned early that survival means small footsteps and smaller appetites. I was upstairs, 3 floors away, hand polishing the mirror in her walk-in closet when something made me stop. Call it mother's intuition. Call it God. Call it the universe warning you that everything's about to change. The house was too quiet. I dropped my cloth and ran. Flew down those stairs like my feet had wings. And that's when I heard Mrs. Elaton's voice echo through that cold, empty mansion. What do you think you're doing? My blood turned to ice. I burst into that kitchen and my heart just stopped. There was my Harrison, my baby boy, standing by the trash compactor with a half-eaten piece of grilled salmon in his little hands. His face was streaked with tears. His backpack was still strapped to his shoulders like he'd been ready to run. Like he knew he'd done something unforgivable. And there was Mrs. Jessica Elaton. White Chanel pantsuit. Not a wrinkle. Not a stain. Blonde hair swept back in that perfect low bun she pays someone $200 to create. Her face, Lord, her face, twisted in disgust like she'd found a rat in her kitchen instead of a 7-year-old child. The contrast hit me like a slap. Her pristine, untouchable world. My boy's worn sneakers with the hole in the left toe. His too small jacket from the Goodwill on Vermont. The evidence trembling in his small, guilty hands. Mrs. Elaton, I started taking a step forward. Her glare cut me off. Scold. Final. The look you give something beneath you. Is this what you teach your son, Sarah? Her voice was sharp, controlled. Each word a blade. To steal. To dig through garbage like some kind of animal. I wasn't stealing, ma'am. Harrison's voice came out so small I almost didn't hear it. You threw it away. I saw Maria put it in the trash. I was hungry. Hungry. That word hung in the air between us like smoke. Mrs. Elaton's arms crossed over her chest. She stood over us. Over him like a judge delivering a sentence. The kitchen felt like a courtroom. Cold. Sterile. Unforgiving. All that stainless steel and white marble reflecting our shame back at us in high definition. 3 years. 3 years I'd worked in this house. 3 years of biting my tongue, of keeping my head down, of being invisible so I could keep this job. Keep the rent paid. Keep Harrison's medication coming. And now this. Harrison's hands were shaking. Still holding that piece of salmon like it was evidence in a trial. My mind was racing, calculating the cost of this moment. Losing this job meant losing our apartment, meant no money for his asthma medication, meant the streets. The power imbalance was so thick you could choke on it. Mrs. Eli Tun opened her mouth to deliver judgment, hungry. Mrs. Elaton's laugh was sharp, ugly. Sarah, don't you feed your child? Pay you good money? Or are you spending it on something else? The implication hung in the air like poison. Drugs, gambling, irresponsibility. Something inside me cracked. Maybe it was the exhaustion, the bone-deep kind that comes from working 60-hour weeks and still coming up short. Maybe it was the injustice of watching my boy hold trash like treasure. Maybe it was 3 years of swallowing every cruel comment, every dismissive look, every reminder that we were less than. My voice came out shaking, but I met her eyes. You pay me $14 an hour, Mrs. Eli Tun. Each word felt like pulling glass from my throat. After taxes, that's barely $400 a week. My rent is $1,650 a month. Harrison's asthma medication is $340. His inhalers are another $200. Then there's electricity, water, bus fare, his school supplies. Paused, holding her gaze. You do the math. I watched her face. Searched it for any flicker of understanding. Any trace of empathy. Any sign of humanity. Nothing. Blank. Cold. Like I just recited a grocery list. That's not my problem, she said flatly. You should have thought about that before you had a child you couldn't afford. The words landed like fists to my chest. I will not have theft in my home. Pack your things. You're fired. Both of you out. Now. My world tilted. I saw it all in flashes. The eviction notice waiting at home. Harrison's empty inhaler in my purse. His scared little face looking up at me wondering if we'd be okay. We wouldn't be. Harrison made a sound. Mull. Strangled. Pure fear. I reached for him, but he was already moving. Dropping the salmon, reaching into his backpack. If you've ever felt invisible, if you've ever been looked down on for being poor, for trying to survive, maybe you understand why what happened next broke me completely. Some of y'all watching know what it's like to choose between medicine and food. You know what it's like to be treated like you're less than human. If this story is hitting different, hit that subscribe button because what my boy did next, it's something every parent needs to see. He dropped the salmon. It hit the pristine white tile with a wet slap. Then my boy, my quiet, invisible boy, he stood up straighter. His voice wasn't small anymore. It was steady, determined. Wait, please ma'am, don't fire my mama. It's my fault. I can pay you back. He pulled a Ziploc bag from his backpack. Inside was money. Crumpled bills. 1s and 5s. Maybe $20 total. My confusion turned to horror. Where did he get this? What has he been doing? Mrs. Elaton's face shifted. Surprise, then something else. Curiosity. Mockery. I couldn't tell. Harrison's hands were shaking as he placed the money on the marble counter. Those bills looked so pathetic against that expensive stone. Against the crystal vase holding fresh roses that cost more than our weekly groceries. Against the wealth that surrounded us like a fortress. But Harrison wasn't done. He reached back into his backpack with trembling fingers. Pulled out something else. Small spiral notebook. The cheap kind from the dollar store with a rainbow unicorn on the cover. The one he'd begged me for at the beginning of the school year. 50 cents on clearance. Harrison opened it. His fingers fumbled with the pages. Inside, page after page of careful, childish handwriting. Numbers. Amounts. I leaned closer, my heart climbing into my throat. The first entry read, October 3rd, found 4 quarters in the laundromat. Saved. The world tilted. I couldn't breathe. I couldn't think. I read the entries over Harrison's shoulder, each one a knife to my heart. Asterisk October 10th. Didn't buy lunch. Saved $3.50. Asterisk. Asterisk October 15th. Returned bottles. Made $2.40. Asterisk. Asterisk October 18th. Mama's birthday coming. Need $30 for the medicine. Asterisk. Asterisk October 22nd. Found pennies. Every penny counts. Asterisk. October 25th. Mrs. Chen gave me 50 cents for helping carry groceries. I've been saving, Harrison whispered. His voice was so small. For Mama's medicine. He looked up at me, tears streaming down his face. I know your back hurts after work. I know the pills you take don't help. I hear you crying at night when you think I'm asleep. His voice cracked. I thought if I saved enough, I thought I could buy the good medicine. The kind that makes people better. I was gonna surprise you, Mama. For your birthday. The kitchen went dead silent. My knees nearly gave out. I grabbed the counter for support. I didn't know. God help me, I didn't know he'd been skipping lunch. Collecting bottles after school. Doing odd jobs for the neighbors. My 7-year-old baby was trying to save his mother. The notebook trembled in his hands. Pages and pages of a child's impossible math. Trying to solve adult problems with quarters and dimes. Across from us, Mrs. Eli Tun stood frozen. She could see the notebook from where she was standing, and something in her face changed. Y'all, I need you to understand something. My baby was 7 years old. 7. And he thought it was his job to fix me. If you've got kids, if you've ever been a kid who had to grow up too fast, this one's gonna hurt. But stay with me. Because what Mrs. Eli Tun did next, nobody saw it coming. Not even me. If this story is making you feel something real, don't just watch. Subscribe. Let's build a community that sees people. Really sees them. Mrs. Eli Tun was staring at Harrison like she was seeing him for the first time. Her face had gone pale. All the anger drained away like water from a broken glass. The kitchen went silent. Just the hum of the refrigerator and Harrison's shaky breathing filling the space between us. Jessica took a small step forward. Her movement tentative, uncertain. How old are you? She asked quietly. Harrison stood straighter, trying to be brave. 7, ma'am. 7.5. I watched something pass across Jessica's face. Pain, recognition, something breaking open from the inside. She took a step back, then another, as if physically struck by his answer. Her hand moved to her throat, to the delicate gold locket she always wears. I'd polished around that locket 1,000 times over 3 years. Never really looked at it, never asked about it. Jessica's fingers trembled as she opened the clasp. The tiny click sounded enormous in the silent kitchen. Inside, a photograph. A little boy, maybe 8 years old, dark curly hair, bright smile, gap in his front teeth. The kind of smile that makes you smile back. Jessica stared at the photo, her thumb brushing across the tiny face. When she spoke, her voice was completely different. Broken, raw, human. His name was Marcus. He was my son. My only child. The air in that kitchen changed. Jessica was still looking at the locket, not at us. He died 6 years ago. The words fell like stones into water. Leukemia. Acute lymphoblastic leukemia. Diagnosed 3 weeks after his 7th birthday. My breath caught in my throat. 7 years old. Same as Harrison. Jessica continued, her voice distant, reciting facts like they could keep the emotion at bay. We had all the money in the world. The best doctors at Cedars-Sinai, specialists flown in from Johns Hopkins, experimental treatments, clinical trials. Her voice cracked. And he still. She couldn't finish the sentence. She looked at Harrison now, really looked at him, and tears were streaming down her perfect makeup. When he was sick, when he was in the hospital, he used to save his desserts. Harrison and I stood silent, listening. The nurses would bring him chocolate pudding, vanilla ice cream, sometimes a cookie. He'd hide them in his nightstand drawer. I thought he was just being difficult about eating. Jessica's voice broke completely. One day I asked him why. You know what he said. She paused, the grief so heavy I could feel it. He said, for the other kids, Mommy. Some of them don't have pudding money. A tear rolled down her perfect makeup, leaving a track through foundation that probably cost more than my weekly paycheck. Jessica closed the locket carefully, reverently. He was dying. Stage 4. And he was trying to save his dessert for children he thought were hungrier than him. Another tear fell. He was 7. Jessica looked at the notebook still in Harrison's hands, at the crumpled dollar bills on the counter. Looked at me with my worn-out shoes and exhausted eyes. "I've been so angry," Jessica whispered. "For 6 years I've been so angry at the world for taking my son." Her voice gained strength, confession pouring out. "I fired the staff who were there when he died. I got rid of all his things. I turned this house into a tomb. I turned my heart into stone." She looked at Harrison. "And just now when I saw you at that trash can, I saw a thief instead of." Her voice broke again. "Instead of what my Marcus would have become." I felt tears on my own face now. Then Jessica did something unthinkable. She knelt down. Right there on her pristine kitchen floor, in her white Chanel suit, she knelt in front of my son, a poor black child she'd called a thief 5 minutes ago. "Harrison," she said, and her voice was gentle. So gentle I almost didn't recognize it. Jessica was at eye level with my son. "Sorry. I'm so sorry. You're not a thief. You're a good boy. You're a good boy." She reached out, hesitated, then placed her hand over his, over the notebook. "My son would have liked you. You have his heart." Jessica stood, wiped her eyes, and something shifted in her posture. Decision made. She turned to me. "You're not fired. You're not fired, and I'm sorry. For everything. For how I've treated you. For not seeing you." I could barely process the words. "Harrison's medication. What's the name?" I stammered out the prescription names. Jessica pulled out her phone and made a call right there. "Dr. Morrison. Jessica Eli Tun. I need a pediatric pulmonologist. Best. And I need prior authorizations pushed through for albuterol. Flovent." My mind was reeling. This was happening. This was real. She hung up and looked at us both. "You'll see Dr. Morrison Friday. My assistant will call with details. And Sarah, I'd like to discuss a raise. Real benefits." Jessica knelt again. "You can stay. And Harrison, you don't have to save your lunch money anymore." She reached for her locket, opened it again. Looked at Marcus one more time, then at Harrison. Maybe you could have dinner with me sometime. Here. A real dinner. Not from the trash. I think I need to remember what it's like to feed a 7-year-old boy." I saw it then. Jessica wasn't just helping us. We were helping her survive her grief. Sometimes the people with everything are the poorest of all. Sometimes it takes a hungry child to remind a broken woman what her own child taught her. Share your pudding. That Tuesday in October, 3 people found something they'd lost. And what came after? Well, that's when things got really complicated. But that's a story for another day.